Let's just call a spade a spade. The movie's fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you happen to be new here. Today's review video is going to be for the Fantastic Four First Steps. This stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly, but this is the MCU's first take, and hopefully the main take for a good while of Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. We have been waiting for a good while for this movie to come out, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
What?
We have had three prior attempts to doing a Fantastic Four, so this is Marvel's long-awaited attempt within the MCU of doing a Fantastic Four movie. This movie chronicles the story of the Fantastic Four from once they got their powers. This movie does take place a few years after the events of them actually being exposed to cosmic rays, which gave them their fantastical powers. And in the movie, it's not only do they have to protect their world from an oncoming threat from the Great Devourer Galactus, but they also have to prepare for the arrival of a bouncing Omega level bundle of joy. This movie does what I've wanted any Fantastic Four movie to do, that the Incredibles beat them to it, is focus on them as a family, being a team of superheroes who have spent years protecting their world, and they are obviously high profile celebrities within this world. Everything's going good, you got a baby on the way, and then all of a sudden the arrival of the Herald of Galactus, the Silver Surfer, comes to deliver the bad news that their world has been chosen to be devoured. This is not really anything too shocking. That's just part of what is in the trailer. I think the story focusing on them as the primary issue that they were trying to resolve in the movie, as how do they balance being superheroes while becoming parents, and the same token, is the strongest quality of this movie. The fact that the four main characters, their chemistry on camera is, it's gonna sound stupid for me saying it, it's fantastic.
Yup.
They get along so well. There's such a familial space with these four actors, the way they've been able to blend this together, where you really do get the vibe that they truly care about each other. They are a family. Between their different quirks and their relationships with each other, you get to explore all of that within the movie, and I think it's paced really well throughout the entire, I think it's like 2.5 hours tops. I thought the standout for me was Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. She embodied that heart of the family and keeping everybody together and keeping them balanced with their own egocentricities. Like, you have Reed, who is incredibly intelligent, and within this universe, because this is Earth 828, I think was the name that they gave or designated for this particular version of Earth, he is the smartest man on the planet, and that sort of mental prowess and ability does lead itself to a level of responsibility that he has. He feels that he has to be able to solve all these problems. So coming up against someone like Galactus, where they don't have an immediate solution, throws a lot of their position within the populace and how people view them as their protectors in jeopardy, especially being the reason that Galactus is targeting Earth. At least that is revealed within the movie itself. Vanessa Kirby's performance as Sue Storm was great. She really kind of gave that motherly vibe for the entire team. Johnny Storm, portrayed by Joseph Quinn, he wasn't necessarily super cocky or hot-headed or crazy like previous iterations have shown. He had that sort of goofiness, but it was underlined with a need to prove himself, and not in a reckless way, but prove himself to a level that would be respected by the rest of the family. You can see it in the movie how he has sort of a weird brotherly style relationship with Reed. It's very teasing with certain aspects, but you can tell that Johnny does respect Reed a lot and wants to get Reed's sort of approval on a more intellectual level than just a like, oh, he doesn't respect me as a person. They all respect and love each other deeply, and that's something that comes through on screen really well. I really enjoyed how they portrayed Ben Grimm in the movie, played by Ebon Moss-Baccarat. Sorry again if I messed up your last name. I like the design that they went with Thing with this one. He's very much straight ripped off of the comics. There were some spots like CG wise that were a little noticeable, but it's not anything that took away from the story. Because they've been together and it's been a number of years since their exposure to cosmic rays, you can tell that they all have different ways of handling how everything has been, between their celebrity levels, between Reed constantly overthinking and even still holding a strong level of guilt for what happened to all of them, especially with Ben, and how they find a way to balance that without overbearing the story with it. It's just a lot of stuff. I think they usually say it's better to be kind of shown things without having to tell you something. You can tell the history, you can tell the things without them having to spend so much time on those things. Yes, we get flashbacks, we get like documentaries of how they got their powers and how they have spent the last few years protecting their world. And I think that's a really smart way of how they circumvented the traditional origin story for a lot of these more well-known characters that we've already seen iterations and versions of in the past, like Superman, like the Fantastic Four, like Spider-Man. Like, we've grown beyond having to explain someone's origin to casual audiences because superhero movies in general have been such a popular mainstay in the world. You don't need that origin story, and this movie takes full advantage of that by jumping right into an established team, an established relationship that has yielded the pregnancy and subsequent birth of one of the most powerful characters in comics.
Language.
Another thing about the Fantastic Four First Steps I really enjoyed was all of the cameos within the movie. There was like just a couple subtle ones, a couple characters, classic villains. There was like a little homage to the original comic book cover that they did within it. Also, there was a lot of little Easter eggs for, you know, your Jack Kirby fans and for just fans of classic Marvel comics in general. Their ship is called the Excelsior, which, if you know, that was Stan Lee's catchphrase, and they are on Earth 828. That is actually August 28th, which I believe is the birth date of Jack Kirby. So I thought those were really cool Easter eggs within the movie as well. There was plenty of good action, but even that was just a backdrop to getting to know this iteration of the Fantastic Four, establishing them as heroes, protectors, their quirks, their family dynamic, without having to feel dragged out, which I felt was really well done. The supporting cast is really good as well. I really enjoyed the special effects, the space travel, that was really neat. And it does lead directly into future events, most notably Avengers Doomsday, which I do recommend you go check out the Fantastic Four First Steps. And so I'm trying to not spoil things. There is a post-credit scene in this, and it does lead into the post-credit scene we got with Marvel's Thunderbolts and what we can expect with the story going into Avengers Doomsday is going to be. Because I don't know specifically of any other movies coming out before Avengers Doomsday after Fantastic Four. I know there are a few Disney Plus shows coming out. We got Wonder Man, we got Vision Quest, and I know there's like 2 animated Marvel shows coming out as well. But their schedule and structure for the movies has been changed and reduced over the last few years because of successes of some and some, you know, not super great performances of others, albeit I still enjoyed, like I said, 90% of everything Marvel has actually put out over the last few years, but I digress. I think this movie really had to tell its story in a unique way, being that this is the 4th attempt at doing a Fantastic Four movie, and I think setting it in an alternate Earth is smart. That was one thing I had talked about years ago. Started someplace in the past. The 60s are a nice area that has of unexplored MCU space. Let's start there. Throw them in the negative zone. Takes them out of play for like 50 years. Easiest way to explain where they've been. either putting it in the past or putting it on its own universe. And I think that was a smart way of doing things. I think doing Galactus as the first major threat was also really well done. I'm glad that Galactus was just a big dude and not a cloud or whatever dumbass shit that previous versions attempted with Galactus. I really am thankful that they got that character done well. It was a good antagonistical force that forced the team to confront the pressures of being celebrities, of being heroes, and how can you protect the world while also protecting your family, because there was a choice that needed to be made, and that response didn't necessarily sit well with the populace, but I found that they came up with a strong familial way of resolving that while also tackling the big threat of Galactus. My theories from the trailer reaction did not come to pass, which is fine.
You sure about that?
But this movie gave me so much more that I was like, oh, we're going that direction for Avengers. That's pretty cool. So overall, I think the Fantastic Four First Steps did exactly what it needed to do. It did what I was hoping it was going to do, is that it really put the emphasis on them as a family and the importance of that being their greatest strength. Not their powers, but the fact that they are there for each other. And I think that is an awesome way of doing it. Granted, The Incredibles did kind of help pave that way a little bit, even though The Incredibles was very much inspired by Fantastic Four. I don't care what anybody says, it was. But I think this version, I'm very excited for the future of where this leads. I'm very happy with how this movie was presented, and I am looking forward to when they next pop up, which we know will be Avengers Doomsday. So those are just my non-spoilery thoughts on the Fantastic Four First Steps. Again, there is a post-credit scene that is pretty effing big. Let me know any thoughts that you have on the movie in the comments down below. Try to keep it spoiler free. Let me know if anything I missed talking about. If you would like me to talk about anything spoiler related, I might do a brief few minute video talking spoilers, but let me know if you want that in the comments. So thank you so much for checking out this and all of my videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you happen to have been new here and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. You can follow me on most social media at DGeekWill. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. See ya.